Oh, Barry Ferguson. Not gonna lie, guys. I would have much rathered Barry Ferguson than Danny Rohl. Welcome back to Fog Football. Some early morning content here. There's not much news firing about. We know Saturday's not going to be all that super because let's face it, all the big teams are playing tomorrow. And that's what we're here for. No one's really tuning in for, was it Falkirk, Dundee and the rest of them. I think St Mirren take on Dundee United and I've no idea. What's Livy versus somebody else? That's what's happening later on the day. But right here, right now, we've got Barry Ferguson talking about Danny Rohl. Points out the fact that he's embracing Rangers traditions. But there's a number one custom I want him to figure out. But now, before we get into what Barry wants this guy to figure out, Danny Rohl, right? I think this guy escaped a lot of criticism the other night. I've kind of already addressed it. Again, it's not all his fault. I do feel sorry for the guy, but end of the day, we lost 3-0, and you take the Bruges game where we lost 6-0 at the equation. That's the biggest scoreline we've lost by this season, and I wouldn't go as far as saying Brann are the second best team we've took on. So, is it safe to say that Danny Rohl has actually done a worse job than Russell Martin would have did against Brann? I'm going to go out a limb here and say, I think there's a case that we might only have lost 1 or 2-0 to Brann rather than 3 if Martin was in charge. But at the same time, I'm a fair guy. I look at a bunch of games this season under Martin. We could have easily lost them or lost them by more. And that's the problem. I don't want to be sitting here talking about losing 1-0 or 2-0 and here that guy would only have lost 2-0, but that guy would only have lost 3-0. I want to be talking about winning games, right? And whoever it is, see Danny Rohl or Barry Ferguson or Gerrard or Muscat, whoever the next guy will be, right? Or Danny Rohl right here, right now, needs to win. And Danny Rohl needs to start tomorrow by getting a win. Now, this is what Barry Ferguson had to say regarding Danny Rohl. And I quote, Danny Rohl chose to get suited and booted for his first game as Rangers boss, but the new gaffer has some bigger decisions to make forward after seeing his side collared in Norway. I know a lot of fans were pleased to see Danny embracing the club's traditions as he pulled on the brogues, blazer and tie that have become a symbol for standards at Ibrox. But let's get it straight. The number one custom at Rangers should and must be winning games of football. And right now, this team is a long way off doing that. Rohl made a point of going to the away end after the game to apologise to the 1,000 or so punters who forked out a fortune on air, hotels and 12 £12 pints, only to see their side concede 3 cheap goals against Brann in the Europa League. The German was drafted in this week and given just 2 days on the training pitch with his new squad, so you simply can't put the blame for what happened on Bergen on the new gaffer. There's not much you can really do in such a short period of time, so it wasn't a surprise to see the many of the flaws that cost Russell Martin so dearly be exploited yet again. End of quote. Right. I mean, I understand this, and I'm not saying Danny Rohl was going to be turning things upside down, right, in his first game after a few days in the door in training. But did we see anything? I'll go back to the Dundee United game with Stevie Smith. I seen more from Stevie Smith than I seen from Danny Rohl. And that's a red flag immediately, because Stevie Smith was just the interim guy. Stevie Smith was the guy that's been coaching our youth team. Stevie Smith was a guy that's not considered one of these highly rated coaches across Europe, because here, I don't rate Danny Rohl all that high, but that's all we heard about. Oh, this guy's brilliant, man. He did this for Bayern, he did this for Leipzig, he did this for Germany, he had a good wee spell at Sheffield Wednesday. We were hearing, Josh Windass, Barry Bannon, all these guys, nothing but praise for Danny Rohl. But yet, after one game, Stevie Smith looks better than Danny Rohl. Now I get it, it's just one game, but why did we look so bad for like 90 odd minutes against Brann, but against Dundee United we looked good? Could just stemmed into the fact that maybe Dundee United were sat off us a bit, and there could have been a case, this could be a manager bounce for Rangers and we're at Ibrox. And I do think, despite how bad we've been this season, teams are going to be looking at Ibrox and thinking, well, they could still hurt us and they might be a bit more reserved. I think there's actually a case for that though, across Scottish football, where European teams are going to come to Ibrox and Parkhead and not be as afraid of teams in the league, because they just don't play us anywhere near as often, and therefore they're not going to be that fearful. But again, if someone wants to say you're talking shite because that's completely the wind these days because Rangers are losing every other game and drawing the other one, then I would have to sit here and accept that. But for me, there's no excuses for Danny Rohl not to get something. There was no period of that game where you looked at it and went, aye, that's what he was working on. I mean, we heard in the pre-match presser, oh, we've worked hard, it was a great training session. Well, where is it? We've seen Andrew Kavanagh watching on. But what did we try that was new? I actually want bullet points. What did we do? What did we start doing? There's nothing. There's nothing for Danny Rohl. I'm yet to see it. Now, moving on to what Barry had to say, and I quote, but going forward, I think Rohl has to strip this team back to basics. We've heard a lot of philosophies and rigid tactical ideas these past few months, but none of that matters if you're losing silly goals and dropping points week after week. And yet again, I felt Rangers made it just far too easy for Brand the other night. Take the first goal for example. The defence was caught out of position and within 5 seconds Jack Butland is picking up the ball at the net. If you're going to concede goals, you should make teams have to scrap and scratch to get through your defence, but more often than not, one simple straight pass is all that's required and teams are in behind this back line looking to score. End of quote. Right, I totally agree with Barry Ferguson. And you know what? See Tav, he was fuming after the game. But why was he fuming after the game? He was fuming after the game like a fan. Like we just witnessed that defensive thing. But the difference is we can't do anything about it. I mean, we can call it out and slabber as much as we want, but the fact of the matter is this, guys, we can't get on that fucking pitch and physically actually do something about it. And strike. It's down to coaches. It's Danny Rohl. It's down to the players themselves. Tav coming out and having a go at his fellow players when he was just as much to blame as the fucking rest of them, it actually pisses me off. Now, well, I mean, part of me does feel for Tav to a degree. Now, let's just not clip that out of context. I kind of feel for Tav because this is a guy that's been a part of much better Rangers teams than this. Hell, a great Rangers team that went on to win the league not too long ago, 5 years ago now. Scary biscuits, isn't it? But, so part of me, I understand where he's coming from. He's like, this is the worst period I've been in, because that is true. But, mate, Tav, we are in this mess partly because of you, because you couldn't you couldn't defend Sleep, man. You're right, Ron. The defending is schoolboy stuff, man. 50 yards in front of his centre backs. I mean, honestly, how far Tav was, and it's every other game we're conceding a goal like that, man. It's not just him, it's Makoma, it's all the centre backs, it's everything. We need to play to these guys straight. See if Tav is not going to bother his arse coming back and defending, right? Play him right mid, or fucking play him up front. It'd be better than Yusuf Shamiti, I'd take that. But anyway, do you agree with Barry, guys? Danny Rohl, he's got one custom and that's winning. He needs to do it. Of course he needs to do it, but Barry did go on to say a lot more. But he said, put simply, everybody at Rangers has to stand together and raise standards. So there you go. I agree with that. Will we beat Kelly? Who the fuck knows? I'm bricking it. I'll be behind the couch. My favourite seat this season. Got all the snacks. Got everything back there, man. Prepared for another 90 minutes of dross.